The map gets smaller. The land gets larger. Roads disappear first, then cities, then trees. Eventually, even the idea of distance changes. This is Nunavut. Nearly 2 million square kilometers, the largest territory in Canada. Larger than Mexico, larger than Mongolia, larger than most countries on Earth. And home to fewer people than a small town. Most travelers never come here. Many never see it, even from the air. The Arctic keeps its secrets. That is part of its power. This is not the Canada of postcards, not the Canada of forests, not the Canada of mountain highways. That Canada exists. This one is older, far older. The story begins in stone and in ice, long before borders, long before maps, long before the first ship crossed the Arctic Ocean. This land was already here, cold, silent, waiting. At first glance, Nunavut appears empty. The impression lasts only a moment. The tundra stretches beyond the horizon. Rivers weave through ancient rock. Glaciers descend toward the sea. Icebergs drift through narrow channels. Everything moves. Slowly, relentlessly. The Arctic is not frozen. It is in motion. The aircraft banks north. Below, Baffin Island appears, the fifth largest island on Earth. Mountains rise from dark water. Snow remains where summer has already arrived. The coastline fractures into hundreds of fjords, each one carved by ice. Each one telling the same story. Pressure, time, movement. The Arctic Ocean presses against the land. Winter presses against summer. The past presses against the present. Nothing here exists without resistance. Then the cliffs appear. Sheer walls of granite, rising directly from the sea. The entrance to Auyuittuq National Park, a name that means the land that never melts, a description and a warning. The mountains stand like monuments, not built, revealed. Ice removed everything unnecessary. Only the essential remains. Rock, snow, sky, silence. The scale becomes difficult to understand. A human being disappears against these landscapes. The mountain does not notice. The glacier does not notice. The Arctic has never required an audience. It existed perfectly well without one, and still does. The sun circles the horizon, refusing to set. Midnight arrives. Daylight remains. Time loses its shape. The Arctic creates its own rules. And visitors spend their first days learning them. The silence feels different here. Not the absence of sound, the presence of space. A silence large enough to contain entire mountain ranges. A silence interrupted only by wind. And occasionally, something alive. A shape appears on the ice, white against white, moving. A polar bear, the largest land predator on Earth, patient, powerful. Perfectly adapted to a world most species could never survive. It walks across the sea ice, a landscape that appears solid, but is never still. Every step depends on conditions changing beneath its feet. The bear understands this. The Arctic demands understanding. Nothing survives here by accident. Far offshore, the ocean opens. Dark water replaces ice. A spray appears against the horizon, then another. A bowhead whale surfaces, one of the longest living animals on Earth. Some alive today may have been born before electricity reached most cities, before airplanes, before radio. Before the modern world. The Arctic remembers longer than we do, and some of its inhabitants remember longer still. Yet Nunavut is not only a story of ice, it is a story of people. The Inuit have lived across this landscape for thousands of years. Traveling sea ice, following migrations, reading weather from snow, finding direction where outsiders see only emptiness. Knowledge here was never optional. It was survival, and survival became culture. The settlement appears slowly. Colorful houses against a landscape of stone and snow. Iqaluit, the capital of Nunavut, one of the smallest capitals in the world. Beyond it, the Arctic continues, unbroken, unfinished. The drone climbs higher. The settlement shrinks. The coastline expands. The tundra stretches toward every horizon. And Nunavut begins to look the way it looked before runways. Before governments, before maps. Ice, rock, ocean, sky. The oldest Arctic story still being told. It is still moving, But the Arctic is not only a landscape of ice, it is a landscape of seasons, extreme seasons. Winter arrives slowly, then all at once. The sea begins to freeze, the bays close, the fjords harden. Darkness returns, daylight shrinks, hours become minutes. The sun drifts lower each afternoon. Until one day, it does not rise at all. The polar night begins. For weeks, the horizon glows faintly, blue, purple, silver, but the sun remains hidden beyond the edge of the world. The darkness changes everything: travel, hunting, time itself. Yet life continues. It always has. Tracks appear across fresh snow: Arctic hare, Arctic fox, caribou. Signs of movement in a season that appears motionless. Nothing truly sleeps here. The Arctic simply changes form. Then, one night, the sky awakens. A faint green ribbon appears above the horizon. Then another. The darkness begins to move. The northern lights, Aurora Borealis. Sheets of green fire drifting across space. Silent, weightless, ancient. Particles from the sun colliding with Earth's atmosphere. Science explains the process, but not the feeling. The sky twists, expands. Shifts from green to violet, from violet to white. The entire horizon becomes alive. The Arctic has many spectacles: